Hey everyone, welcome back to the artist always known as Alejandro. You know it's me, and thanks for joining me and following along. Let's do some drawing, huh? Whether you're on paper or digital, welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy this illustration session featuring my lovely little character, Misty Glowa. Now, you've probably seen some of my short videos where I've done like progression clips of her, but I've never done one like this. So I said, you know what? It's time. To be honest, I was trying something else and it wasn't working out. So I said, I've never done a Misty one. I was going to try and save a Misty for actually near Halloween, but we're getting into the season, so let's draw her. And I'm not drawing her entire body, it's just the bust. I think it'd make it cute and have her take a selfie. Why not? It's a thing we do, right? She'd be taking a selfie, probably in front of a Halloween merch or somewhere at a theme park. Hey, it's around that time anyway. Theme parks have started their stuff like Universal has. And other ones are soon going to be opening up in September. Fun times, fun times. But let's get into the sketch. We're going to start with our ever reliable pencil layer. As you can see, I'm getting her into this selfie position like she'd be holding her camera in her left hand. And you're probably saying, why aren't you showing the camera? Well, if you're taking a selfie, you wouldn't see said camera. You'd see the arm. Granted, Misty is magical, so she probably could have had it float. But here I'm doing some interesting ideas of like making things almost geometrical. See, the shapes are not organic, they're a little more boxy and geometrical. I think it helped, especially with her bosoms. Her fingers, yeah, I had to redo those over again. Not in her arm. I kind of want it closer to her face. Yeah, I know a lot of people take selfies with just index and middle finger up. I'm loving it. Give her some love. Like she's doing like a little love. She's loving you. Loving her audience and Halloween. She will also be in the fight to save the universe at some point. But I should work on her own regular story. Either way, that story wouldn't come out till next year. Because the story deals with Halloween. That's the idea I have. So there'd be no point in doing it now. It's not going to make it for Halloween. And meow meow. Misty was just an accident. I had gotten Clip Studio Paint and I started working on my first Meow Meow book, but I also wanted to play around and try other things. And then I just drew this kind of dark gothic looking girl. I think I labeled her dark girl or goth girl or something like that. And then just gave her this little top and this gray skin and these yellow eyes. The yellow eyes have kind of abandoned, but I kept the yellow part of the eyes. But I kept her eyes blue. The actual irises are blue. And she was a lot more cartoony than I started making her a little more semi-realistic until I came up with the look we have now. I mean, granted, you could draw any way you want. Excuse me. Shouldn't be yawning, huh? It's a lot of work having this much fun, isn't it? Let's follow along. I'm breaking things into little sections here. In the ink phase, it's just a lot easier to follow over my pencil phase, lighten that layer below, and do it up. And now, as you can see, the pencil layer is just a raster layer. The vector layer is still this one. That'd be great if I had an actual model to help me do this. I just have to imagine how the body is. Which I'm assuming a lot of artists still will do that. I mean, nothing can beat actual reference, like physical reference in your studio or photo reference. That's exactly this is exactly the way the human body moves. This is how the fingers are going to be. There might be a slight bend. You can always exaggerate things, but we're going for a semi-realistic look here. That's how, as I kept going, I think I did Misty for Christmas, and then I did one for Valentine's. Like, hey, now she's. It was a fine line between cartoony and more comic book style. And then my favorite is her in her St. Patrick's Day outfit with holding a hat. I'm like, wow. I drew that up in like a few minutes. I'm like, wow. The position, the body came out so good. I'm like, okay. And I just started drawing Misty a lot more. Kind of drew her a lot more. But I thought, she's a cute girl, but I think there's a story here. Something that might appeal to maybe a younger audience. I don't know. But it would have to tie in with Halloween. I don't want to give away too much. But she'll have a key component in helping with the holiday. Because it's her favorite. The extent of her powers, I don't know. I haven't even played around with that. She could create a light show. Maybe levitate. Could put up a force field. Now here I'm doing her eyes. I'm doing the eyebrows, but I'm like, you know what? Let's see. You're posing for a selfie. How would your face be? There's so many expressions you could have. And I'm like, let me have this. No, let's do her nose. I never really have a line showing the nose bone with her. And the ever challenging eyes. Whoops, let's get it closer to the edge. And then a playful smile. And really think about it for a second. It's too much. Don't want to be too exaggerated. Just that little playful smile like, hey, I'm posing. And I'm even not connecting the whole bottom lip. It's okay. I didn't like the eyes. What happened there, bud? I didn't like the eyebrows either. There we go. Just kind of like, hey, what's up? I'm posing. Why not? There was like a draw the mighty Marvel wave there. I just did. They say in the book to make the eyelash one line. Don't make individual eyelashes. I mean, that was a John Buscema style, which is excellent. And it works. I'm still trying to find my groove with faces. I'm getting there. And to get that nostril just right. Yeah, move the eye around a little bit. I'm not digging some of this here. You know me and eyes. Hungry eyes. I get lost in your eyes. And those sad eyes look the other way. But she's got happy eyes. I just had to redo her cheekbone because she's youthful. She's in her teens. Late teens. Here I decided to take away the background. I'm like, let me just work on it without seeing something underneath. And just go by what I know should be anatomically fitting for this. Now I'm breaking it down into little sections. It's a lot easier that way. And your little ear. And I know I could always adjust the line, straighten it, play around with that tool. I'm moving her nose around just a little bit. that way. It's these little things. I never did this in the normal world. Maybe I would erase the nose and do it. Here you can just move so many things around. There you go, connect that vector line, and then you just straighten out everything, make it a little better. Something you could do off screen. You could pause it if you want, because I'm moving on. Her head is too small. You scale, pull your picture back and look at the whole thing. Yeah, her head would have been too small. So we do the good old lasso and make her head bigger. Just right. Just get those adjustments. Sometimes you have to just take a look back and see what needs to be done. Now it's time for her hair, and I always draw Misty's hair with the pencil tool. Just like the graininess of it, and it's just another texture. It makes her hair stand out. And then, of course, I'm using her skull as a base of where I want the hair to go. It's fun drawing the hair this way. I think the pencil tool just kind of flows better, and it gives just this nice texture that you don't normally see in a pen. Or if I was from New Zealand, I'd say peen. Hi, my fellow New Zealand friends. Hope you're enjoying this video. Love your accent. Just adjusting your face, a little bit of that. Get the hairline right, and move on. I did a few little adjustments here. You could see I added the irises. I added some fingernails and cut down on some of this muscle tone, which I think was excessive. Added her irises. Let me fix this. You can see it anatomically, the shoulder line here is like, what? There you go. In the position she is holding that phone, you would see this. You wouldn't see that much shoulder because that would be away from the camera. So it's just kind of creating an extra line, and then of course her little neckline thing. Really nitpicking. There was just like all these little nuances like, oh, come on. Time to connect some lines here or move some stuff around. You could always bring it out and then just erase the excess. That's the beauty of it. And then use your tool to straighten it and make it nice and curvy at the same time. All right, but I want to do the detail layer. It's time for the detail layer. Just adding a little few things to her fingers. Just those little details. And there, a little bit on her knuckles. Not much. Less is more. To try and figure out what I wanted to do with her elbows. There's the shading, since I already have an elbow line. And then just that. Don't really need a lot of muscle tone on Misty. Adding some of this, but then I said, nah, just leave it. But I did want to add a little bit of lip line here. Yeah. I mistakenly started to do that, and then I start scaling back. I'm like, nope, get rid of those. Don't want it. This is one of those less is more situations. I want to add just a little bit of that and a little bit of elbow, and that's it. And now her booby lines, very important. And her nice little top she wears. Almost lingerie, I guess. And then, of course, her well-kept rib cage and ab section. I have to redo this again, though. It doesn't. Now look at it like, it doesn't kind of match. Let's try this again. I'm so used to starting from the outside, working my way into the center. See? But here I'm working from the center out only because it lines up better with what we physically have on the other side. See? Now here, I had to go another layer. I had to do the clip to layer below thing and color it in white. So I'm just taking off the paper layer so you could see what I had to do in order to do her little netting. So this way it won't leak over into the other layers. So it was weird. That was the only way I could do it without that popping in. So it won't go to the other layers if you color it and do that. And add it, see? So I added her netting using the cross hatching tool. Fill in the blacks in her eyes. And do the airbrush to show a little bit of light coming off those eyes. Turn around, yep. Just adding a little bit more to her hair. You know, her hair was just a little too light for me. So zoom in, just add a few more strands. It's fun, you could play with it. And even coming off this one, you could just make the brush smaller and work your way up from the ear. This way you're not going into the ear. If hairs go over her ears, it would be okay. You know, normally you could have hairs just floating over your ears. Maybe not. See, I'm like building the curves of the hair over the line underneath with her skull. Just and a few more, just to fill in. So it adds enough to make the hair black. Got to do her nails. I must say, that's like one of the best hands I've done in a while. I really like the fingernails too. So we got that. Now we're going to do our old increase line width. I did it on the other layers, so I'm just doing here with the detail layers, just adding a little more so they could pop. She's posing for that selfie. She's just ready to post them on the social medias. Now I said, let me give her a little background. So I go back to the cross hatching and start doing this kind of swirl. Almost like she's creating a magic field around her. There we go, kind of filling in the space in between. Then I decided to use the dapple on it. I go on the same, there's a dapple layer, just go on the same. I'm just going to go over the cross hatching lines to give a little more something. A little extra added bonus. Just so, shrink it down a bit and give her a little more to play with. See? And that will do it. A simple Misty drawing. Simple, you say. Oh, you say it's simple. It's very complex for me, Alex. I know you can do it. You've been with me this long. Follow along. And there's Misty. I know you can do these drawings too. Taking her selfie just for you. Getting ready for Halloween this season. Well, there she is. Hi, Misty. Well, thanks for joining me in another sketching video. It was a pleasure to bring it to you. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next sketch video. Until then, keep creating.